Welcome to the Blackout Show, presented by the Guillen Grid, a show about the Chicago White Sox baseball, the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll debate what's working and what's not on the south side of Chicago. It's old school versus new school baseball. And most importantly, we're keeping all the receipts.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Gonzo here. With me tonight is my co-host Jay. Boys, we're going to be missing OJ for the show. Possibly be popping in later. We'll see about it. But tonight we're going to get into some sorrows as our amazing owner Jerry Reinsdorf has given us a little letter of empathy. And here is Jerry's letter of empathy to us White Sox fans. And as you can read it with me here, it's everything that you would expect in a letter. Obviously, I think the biggest takeaway from this is going to be the fact that he ends it talking about the positives with the farm system. We saw the Cannonballers and the Barons win championships in both of their leagues respectfully. And obviously,
right here, Gonzo.
Yeah, obviously, with the farm system as it is, we got some talent coming up. And that's what the last part of this paragraph talks about. Justin, go ahead and give me your thoughts on some of this letter here.
Well, first of all, it makes me sick to my stomach because I'm a homer, right? So I'm usually in the mood to eat up any of this word salad that Reinsdorf, Rick Hahn, Chris Getz, whoever it may be that's feeding me the bullshit. I'm supposed to eat this up, right? But this year in particular, I'm in a fantasy dynasty league. So what that means is I'm more in tune with the younger players that are coming up. The Brooks Baldwins, the Edgar Cueros, we're lucky that the pitching has been semi-decent as far as the young crop. That's what I'm most disappointed in because Jerry, there's no bats. There's not one name you can hang your hat on in Kannapolis, in Birmingham, to where you could say, that's the next guy that's going to make me put pen and paper, at the highest level. So you're feeding me a dream that we can't even fathom yet. So I said all that to say this, Gonzo. My honest opinion about the letter is I feel disrespected because you very seldomly talk to the media, and every time that you do give the public and the fans something, it's this. This is empty. This is no connection to us. You don't feel bad. You're not financially competitive with your peers. Come on, man. You're not really trying to make sure that you're not putting out these type of fucking letters at the end of every season, Jerry. You probably got the next one typed up already. I'm hurt, Gonzo, at the letter. I'm hurt.
Yeah, honestly, Justin, with 100-loss season a year ago and then a historic season this year, at the very least, you gotta, as soon as that season finishes, send that email to your social media department saying, hey, we're gonna prep a press conference and I'm gonna face the media. I'm gonna go out there as the owner of this business, my product, and I'm gonna face the media. I'm gonna tell the fans basically what that letter is, but I'm gonna say at face value, not just a letter out there for the platforms for the people to digest for 5 seconds, because no one's going to read that whole thing,
No.
right? And no one cares to. Like, let's be real. Like, that's completely bullshit. But at the end of the day, he has our hope. He's the running the show. He hasn't passed away. He hasn't given it to anyone else. He hasn't sold the team. It is what it is. And me and you, diehard fans, we just have to enjoy anything that comes out of it. And it's hard because me and you, we try to go week in and week out providing content for this team. And it sucked a little, the first 2 seasons
Fucking
of this platform.
Gonzo. We're getting Reinsdorfed.
We're getting Reinsdorfed. Now, to go with the letter, Justin, again, we saw Chris Getz face the media. And for what it was worth, he provided his, and we talked about this a little bit last week, but a little bit, a couple more rumors came out this week with the upcoming managerial hire. And we saw that Terry Francona, which is one you brought up, Terry, right? I think last week.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I've been bringing up Terry the whole year, to be honest with you.
And he just got hired by the Reds, okay, which I was shocked by. I didn't see the Reds as a particular team to put a huge investment for a manager, but it makes sense with the talent that they're trying to put together with their young core of position players. They got holes, and they're going to be making some moves, right? I mean, you better believe if you make a hire like that you're going to be starting spending some money to go with your core that you're building. And Reds are going to be a team to, sorry for the guys on the other side of town, but that's another team in the NL Central that's going to be on the rise. Them in Pittsburgh.
Not really sorry for the Cubs.
Yeah. But you see the Reds making moves. And now, for at least us, we saw some rumors of Buck Showalter pop the rumor mill, and also Skip Schumacher as well. Let's get to, what's your thoughts on those 2 guys in particular?
I wouldn't touch Skip Schumacher with a 10-foot pole. I feel like I don't want anybody from the Miami Marlins organization. I feel like they're straying further and further away from traditional baseball. As far as Buck Showalter, I'm all in. Give it to me. Like, I don't necessarily care about his age and how far you may think he's detached from the game. Buck Showalter fixes teams, plain and simple. That Yankees dynasty you love, it wasn't there until Buck got there in '93. Those Orioles teams that's going to get Manny Machado in the Hall of Fame, that made Adam Jones a legend and got Chris Davis paid, who was at the helm? Buck Showalter. Those Texas Rangers teams that was fucking averaging 100, probably 1 million people a year in the stadium with a 75 to 90 win team. Buck Showalter provided that. I feel like Buck Showalter can get us back to playing real baseball. Most of the teams that he managed slug. They hit the ball out the ballpark. It's an organic element to what he brings to the table. I'm all in on Buck Showalter. Last time I had an old, sleepy manager, we were old and headed to the fucking playoffs, Gonzo. Give me the Buck. The Buck starts now.
Buck starts now. I just have a feeling he's going to pick some other team other than us at the end of the day. Wouldn't you, man? I mean, if you have to rejuvenate yourself a little bit.
I don't want to answer this honestly.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I feel like for where we're at this particular time, what is wrong with giving Grady Sizemore an opportunity to take this? You can kind of spark the boat like Renteria did with setting the culture and running with it. I did tweet about this because, when I saw the little sample size that we saw of Grady, even in the midst of that, I think they were at like a 20-game losing streak at that point. They were completely dead. And with the vibe he came out in that dugout, he got them going. He was keeping that team in games with the way he was with, I think, taking the energy and raising it up a notch and putting some life in that dugout. And you saw them in games. And besides that, like, there wasn't any game situations that I saw him in that I'm like, well, the game got away from him there. And that's quite a bit to say because of what we've seen over the past 2 seasons. So um, I feel like he was a surprise to me, and that's a surprise that I'd give him an extra leash, to give him and see what he can do. I mean, he already is starting to, he's it. Not only was he the manager, but he was also in the background with your GM, kind of like listening to what the future is and the plans going forward. So he's well in the moment to know where this organization is going, that he can continue to be on the path of where they want this team to be. And I think that's important. And honestly, I wouldn't consider it a bad, idea for them just announce right away that he's going to be our manager going forward. And honestly, I don't think a managerial, hire that next manager. I don't think that should be the top priority right now with all the holes on this roster. Like for me, it really doesn't matter at this moment. Like I do believe coaching matters, but for this moment, there's so many holes in this roster that we need to get to a position where talent on the field is at a level where we're like, okay, now like we want to get the extra wins here with that manager with game situations where that makes that impact in the game. Because right now we're 50 games or what were we behind 500, like way over 50 games in the division. So like we got to try to get back to 500 at least. So that should be first priority is the talent and product on the field. What's your how about you, Justin? Are you agreeing with me or where are you
Yeah,
at?
well, yeah, the thing is, right, like this is not the old days where a guy's just gonna sign off on a complete fucking project rebuild like this is Hell's Kitchen. Like you're gonna have to have some foundational pieces uh to entice a manager because like you said, Gonzo, you're a million games under 500. For a fact the financials won't be there when it's time to upgrade or pivot. Like how desirable is it the White Sox job? And Gonzo, in a perfect world, like we would do our due diligence and take as much time as possible finding a new manager. The problem is, with so many problems and specific things wrong with the team, finding a manager could take you into next season. And the last thing you want to do is have a lame duck situation, Grady Sizemore telling him, yeah, he's only going to be the manager until the halfway point of next year. Give him the keys and then tell him it's a deadline. Like that'll be the wrong thing to do. But the White Sox are in a position to do something stupid like that too. I just feel like we wasn't even thinking about it throughout the managerial conversation, but you brought up a good point. Like there's a lot more wrong with these people than just coaching. Like there is no foundational property here. Like there is no formula. We have no DNA, no formula. The only DNA the White Sox have in the organization is how they successfully develop left-handed pitching. That's the only thing we have as a calling card. We don't even have the invincible first base card no more. That's gone. So what manager you do not want to bring a new manager in and give him the same vulnerabilities that the last guy had. The White Sox won't be able to pivot and give a new manager new toys, new inventory to try to fix the problem. So it's like, fuck, how important is it? Like, would it really be a net loss if you just stayed with Grady one more calendar? Probably not. Yeah. Hello? Yeah, you're muted. Okay, bye.
As much as I want to say that I'm excited for that next manager, hire at this particular moment, that's something that is lower on my priority list. Save my emotions for. But let's transition, man, because
You about to
we've
cry?
got we've got some moves to make in the offseason here. And the first thing up on Chris Getz's agenda is our arbitration options here, which I popped up on the screen for y'all. Let me get to the arbitration names.
Let me see that shit.
First is up On the list is a 30-year-old Nicky Lopez.
Maple villain.
I say he's on arbitration 4. I say goodbye. What do you say, Justin?
Adios.
There we go. You know, I'm going to skip the next guy because I'm going to go from bottom to top from this point because I want to get rid of some of these names. So Jimmy Lambert, another 30-year-old. I think we've seen enough of Lambert.
Yeah, he's popped.
Arbitration 1. That's another guy that's popped. Steven Wilson. Yeah, I mean, we got him in the Cease trade. He's another 30-year-old. Arbitration 1. We saw him in spurts last season have success when dealt with injuries. Honestly, at his age, and I think he's $3 million option. I can pass on him as well. What do you say?
Yeah, I would say usually, a guy like Steven Wilson, you could just keep him around for minor league depth. But shit, most of the fucking guys that are coming up through the mound, they're starting out of the bullpen first and then gradually making their way, to the rotation. So he'll probably just be some debris blocking somebody. Yeah, you can cut him loose. Like a lot of these guys.
Yeah. And here's Deek. Thanks, Deech, for tuning in to us.
The buck starts here, Deech.
Next up, Matt Foster, another 30-year-old on arbitration 2. Look, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't
know. I might want to keep Matty around for one more go around.
I can't say too much bad about Matt Foster, but for me, for the age factor, he's had success in the past. But like I said, there's a lot of guys coming up that I want to give an opportunity to. And as of lately, this is a what have you done lately league, and he hasn't fulfilled my needs at this moment, Justin.
Pause, man. I don't need to know that.
Yeah, that's a guy that I got to cut. I'm sorry. Sorry, Maddie.
Doesn't fulfill my needs.
It doesn't fulfill my needs. Next up, Justin Anderson.
He's gone.
It's worse. 32-year-old, again, arbitration 1. There's not much to say. He's another guy that even as a lefty option, we can do better, right? And that's where we're at a point here where some people can argue these guys, these veteran arms, but for me, we're about product on the field, and we can do better. I don't need to see more from Justin Anderson. What do you say?
No, you don't.
Yep. Next up, Yaniel De Los Santos, 29.
Keep.
Another guy in ARB 2.
You say him around.
Keep. All right. Give me a reason why you want to keep.
Because he's better than his number suggested. Ground ball machine when he's right. I feel like this is an opportunity to where you can save a lot of tread on the tires for some young pups that's going to get their start in the major leagues in that middle relief role first. I think Yaniel can take some of the tread off their tires too.
So what about the command issues that you feel like he can get over?
I think he can get over that because with his stuff and what he throws, there's just no need to nibble. And that's what he has to get away from. He tries to be too cute with the breaking ball. If he gets into a situation to where he throws his splitter and changeup enough to where he doesn't have to grab called strikes with his breaking ball, he'll be fine. But he likes to nibble. That's what he does. So that's why you get into those situations where a bloop and a blast can hurt him. I think he'll be okay. I'll keep De Los Santos.
I'm on the opposite side of it, but that's okay. We can have disagreement.
I'm a homer. I mean, fuck.
That's okay. I just saw in the 64. I mean, he got a good chunk of innings pitched this season with the Sox. 64 innings. I'm not crazy guy with ERA. Out of relievers, I can understand the situation where this team has been this season, how it can get away from you at 5.2. But for this situation, I like to look at the whip here. You saw control issues. Again, there's a lot of guys coming up that I feel like deserve the opportunity to eat up those innings. So we can be split, man. That's okay. Next up, I'm gonna go to Gavin.
Yeah, I was gonna say DFA Crochet. Let him walk.
Let him walk. Gavin Sheets, 29 years old, ARB1. I
Keep.
say goodbye
Why?
because we can do better.
We can, but we're not going to.
I don't need another first base defensive or first base designated hitter on the roster.
Who's hitting cleanup next year for you? Import?
We'll see. We'll bring that up next year as we look at free agents. Guys to flip because I'm not going to be flipping Gavin Sheets at the deadline. So, what reason would you keep him?
I just think you somebody's got to hit. I mean, you're getting rid of like 35% of the team. Somebody's still got to be around.
That's
like
the point. That's the point, though, right? Back-to-back 100-loss seasons. You want to start bringing
but I
some
mean, like
new
Gavin
guys
Sheets'
in. Like,
profile.
what did you see? What did you see the last 2 years that you said, okay, this guy's going to come up and hit when he hasn't done so?
I mean, like a bench bat. Like you could do a lot worse than Gavin Sheets off the bench.
Can you?
Yeah, I mean, in a role where you just need a left. But you know what? Let me stop because I'm getting into the White Sox situation to where we got food at home when it's time to go out for dinner. Let me stop. Gavin Sheets is very much replaceable and should be replaced because if we keep him next year, he's going to be getting starts in left and right field.
I just don't know how many times you have to see the exact same product, all right? I mean, as a guy that's 230 average hitter, career average.
Yeah. I mean, the White Sox don't set the bar that high. I don't believe that.
He's had a great sample size each season, right? Last year, it says 451 at-bats last year.
This year, how many at-bats?
451.
Yeah. And
his career, you want to guess how many career at-bats he's got? So he
1,200?
Right. So he last season, right, he had 233 average and 450 at-bats. His career is 1299 at-bats and 230. So he just hit the mean. You know, like, why do we have to keep on seeing the same thing and then setting our expectations higher than what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you're coming up on a situation to Gavin Sheets, while we have this conversation, has reached his sample size and he has reached his ceiling. There is no more projections for that. I think we're at that point with Vaughn too, where you could just we got to throw out the projections and just say this is who he is.
Yeah, because let's just be real. Let's just say Cuero comes up at some point next season, right? There's a left-handed at bat for you at designated hitter if Corley's not catching. Because both Corley and Cuero could be your catcher designated hitter too.
Mm-hmm. And then you got to think about it too. They're probably gonna give Zach DeLoach more bats. Somebody like that's gonna eat up that Gavin Sheets slot.
Mm-hmm. So brings up let's go with the easy one, right? Garrett Crochet, 26 years old, ARB2. It's gonna be some easy money, right? To eat up there in arbitration there for ARB2. And it's going to be one hell of a deal, hopefully this offseason. All right, let's just hope that our GM can finally show us they can get the job done and deal in good value. I don't have high hopes because I haven't seen it yet, but hey, that's the only thing we have left, right? That's the biggest chip we have. You should get a hell of a deal for him. Justin, what do you say? Anything to Crochet that we haven't talked about that you feel like you can bring up at all?
No, I'm just absolutely fucking pissed that the White Sox chose to limit his fucking innings down the stretch when he was throwing the ball really well. Like when people started to have the phantom conversation, he's breaking down, this is uncharted territory. I mean, he was still a V8 engine, 305. Like, come on, bro. He was still full steam ahead. Why is he only going 4 innings? So outside of that, yeah, we're already past his comments or whatever. I get that you're trying to boost the trade, try to save the trade value for Garrett Crochet, but you're still if you're planning to trade him, you were still auditioning him this summer, and limiting his innings was just idiotic and moronic in my opinion. I hated that.
Real quick, it's not linked, but there's a Twitter comment that says from Tony Marchese, who was a guest from the season. So, what does Andrew Vaughn fetch on the open market?
Probably a $5 biggie bag from Wendy's.
For a
Or
$6 million bat?
Beefy crunchy chalupa from Taco Bell, for sure.
I'd be really curious on like teams like Seattle and San Fran, the Giants.
But I think that's the issue, though. That's the issue with
Yeah.
those teams, because they're always searching for, like, it'd be fucking dumb for Seattle to let Ty France walk just to trade for Andrew Vaughn.
Especially when Ty France lit it up in Cincy down the stretch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Damn near had Andrew Vaughn's season in August. So it's like, what do you think Andrew Vaughn commands in the open market? In 20 home runs and 500 at bats from a guy that's not going to steal and hit into the most ground ball double plays on your team with a C- glove. What is he going to fetch in the open market when you're probably going to have a guy at every position better than Andrew Vaughn with a higher ceiling?
A guy whose floor was 15 plus home runs, 70 ribbies. That's just his floor on a team that back-to-back. He did that in back-to-back years with a 100-loss season with no protection in the lineup. I don't know what his ceiling could be. I really don't.
Come on, bro.
I really don't know what his ceiling could be because we haven't seen it. Because we haven't had a GM that's put protection around him in this lineup.
Seattle won't help him. Seattle can't help him. There's no protection in that lineup.
But it seems like they have a GM that, well, also they had some really good hitters coming up too. So
that play Andrew Vaughn's position.
None of them do though.
Who's the first baseman they got coming up? They got Locklear.
Oh yeah, so you got Tyler Locklear, yeah.
So if he's going to be
up about Locklear,
you're not going to DH Vaughn.
That's why I feel like between those two, I would really think San Fran would be more of a priority because that's where he's from.
He gonna be in a platoon spot with Lamont Wade?
Yeah. Why not?
Because Lamont Wade hit lefties better than Vaughn does? That's why.
It's a good platoon to have. That's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, sure. Until Lamont Wade blows his hamstring and Vaughn got to play first for a month.
And hey, they got a better infield than we do.
What will we get back?
Gotta start looking at their farm system.
Give me Tyler Fitzgerald right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we just came to it with the big question was with Vaughn, that's $6.4 million. I think that's easy money to eat up there, considering that he's been our second best bat in this lineup. And look, we saw what Kopech did, right? Everyone was questioning what we could get back for Kopech, and then he goes to the Dodgers, and look how he's doing over there. You don't think a former Golden Spikes award-winning talent, other teams can get more out of him than what we can? Like,
I don't know. Kopech's more talented than fucking Vaughn, though. He has more natural talent.
I mean, it's two different positions.
Man,
as a pitcher versus position player.
Yeah, so what? Okay, what's Vaughn's natural talent?
Like I said, you know how hard it is to be a Golden Spikes award participant?
About doing it at the major league level.
Yeah, none of them did with the White Sox, bro. We didn't get their ceiling.
We've seen enough of Kopech.
Like
Kopech touched his ceiling more than Vaughn did.
Pissed me off is like everyone in that draft class, right? With Adley, Witt, then went Vaughn. Everyone brings up that draft class, but doesn't realize like whoever we took, we weren't going to be developing them, and that's the pain of it. We don't have an organization that can develop position players.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then we have to trade for them.
That's why I hated the letter, because I mean there was no position players Jerry could have sold us on. That's why they went unnamed. That's why they went nameless. Remember when we were getting these letters, but we were getting Yohan Moncada and Luis Roberts' name in them and everything else. Sad, bro.
Sad. Well, let's transition because we went through the whole list. So I said keep Vaughn, Crochet. Who are the guys you were actually going to keep?
Foster, De Los Santos. I mean, and obviously Vaughn and Crochet. Okay. You talked me out of Gavin Cheese.
I feel like I did my one good deed of the day.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, let's transition to so obviously we're gonna look at free agents here, but
you cancel those first 8. You could cancel the first 30 names in regards to the White Sox.
So let's tackle this with something that's realistic, right? First off, where do you feel Chris Getz's aim should be in free agency?
What do you mean, like dollar amount or position wise?
Position wise, or like even the strategy going into free agency.
Well, I mean, he kind of got it easy because he doesn't have any minor league bats. What he needs to do is make sure that his rotation and bullpen don't get burned out. So you necessarily don't need to bring in an ace or anything. You just need somebody to eat quality innings. Like if I'm Chris Getz, I'm trying to repeat an Eric Fetty situation and seeing if I could find me one more Flexen.
So for me, free agency, right? You're gonna have to go bargain shopping, right? For the trade deadline, start flipping some deals here. And honestly, I wouldn't really. If it was me, my focus would be position players to flip. Because like I said earlier, with the farm system, with all the pitching coming up, I really don't need to go bargain shopping for starting pitching. Because if I'm rebuilding, I'd rather use that. As far as our pitching staff goes, I want to give the most opportunity to see what we truly have and get
that's a dangerous game
assessment.
because you could burn them out though. I mean, I'm with you 100%. I don't.
But regardless, bro, not everyone's gonna hit. But you have to get an assessment on the guys that you're gonna keep and the guys that you feel like aren't gonna be there but have good value to trade away. You gotta do that sooner than later, right? We're so used to doing this last second while their value has completely diminished.
Yeah.
You gotta start flipping guys.
So what you thinking about Thairo Estrada? If Brandon Lau didn't have that fucking club option, he'd be perfect.
Yeah, I like Estrada. Because I feel like as much as I would want to flip Gleyber, I just feel like the value is going to be too high. But I feel like you said, Thairo Estrada, I think he's a perfect candidate that you can get a guy that can play short or second base, right? Right in the middle of the diamond. And let's take a quick pause here. Again, the main priority is going to be, trading away Crochet, seeing what even there is this offseason, and even Robert on the table, right? And our main priority, Justin, right? If we, me and you are GMs, and this is what Chris Getz even said. Chris Getz's first priority, he said, coming to this organization was prioritizing up the middle of the diamond, right?
The spine.
The spine. Has he done that yet?
No.
There's one piece, though, that I feel like is there, though. it might be the only position player that has some true upside that is progressing in a linear progression too, which is we don't really see that. And I brought him up as Cuero. If he is for sure the catcher, well, there you go. You got one position up the spine, but
Yeah.
the true position of that spine is going to be the shortstop. We don't got anyone at the moment that I truly believe in with Montgomery or Gonzalez. So I feel like the main piece in that Crochet deal, I'm hoping is going to be a shortstop.
Yeah.
Again, I've talked to you about offline about Emil Morales. I don't know how tight he is in the Dodgers organization. Would the Dodgers, if the Dodgers lose this round versus the Padres, would they be desperate to give a piece like that up to get a pitcher?
Shit, if we're gonna do that, if we're gonna go for a meal, why don't we try to spin the block on San Diego and get the ring?
Yeah,
Leo.
I'm fine with either or. I would take Emil over DeVries. That's just me though. But what do you think? What about your Red Sox, right?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause we can go even get a second baseman and Christian.
And Campbell.
Yeah, Christian
Yeah,
Campbell.
and the thing is, Christian Campbell might not just be a second baseman for the White Sox. He could very well be a guy that bounces around the diamond too. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think people are understanding what the Red Sox are turning into. They're turning into a little versatility factory. Look at what Rafaela was doing at shortstop and center field, bouncing back in real time from two separate positions of the spine, Gonzo. Playing two different positions starting
Yeah.
for those responsibilities. That's huge. Christian Campbell could be very well. There could be a world where we trade for Christian Campbell, Luis Roberts hurt. Guess who's playing center field for a couple weeks?
And I would absolutely love that, bro. And honestly, the Red Sox, they got a boatload of guys coming up in their system too that
Shit.
he's expendable.
The Rangers got an 18-year-old named Braylon Morrell that I would love to get too.
Yep.
Because he got a nice mature Mark DeRosa swing, and being a right-handed hitter that could bounce around the diamond, that could be perfect. Perfect.
And if going back to that Seattle discussion we had, if Farmelo didn't, what was it, his ACL that he tore?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a candidate that I would definitely be eyeballing too. And honestly, I still would be eyeballing him because he's still young enough to get that ACL recovered.
Yeah, it's just like the Red Sox taking a chance on Brandon Montgomery. Like, he broke his foot, but he's still in high enough for you to take a flyer on him.
Right. But again, like, these are the guys that you should be talking about in these discussions, right? You don't have to be eyeballing.
All of those guys are injury prone too, though, Gonzo. Looking at the list, every last one.
But they're young and they've got a lot more higher upside, I believe, than some of those guys at the top of the rankings, prospect rankings. But yeah, let's get back to your free agent discussion here. Estrada, I think that's a key guy that you should focus on right there. But while we are on the conversation, at the same time, you kind of have to be projecting ahead of yourself a little bit, so if you are going to be having Vaughn discussions, why not have a replacement that you can even flip later in the, deadline, a guy like Josh Bell. Because that's what the Marlins did this year. Did well enough.
No, I think if you get rid of Vaughn, with Christian Walker being like 34, you don't have to really throw the bag at him. You could get him on a nice 2-year deal.
I don't disagree with you. I just feel like Walker, like, I'm trying to be a little realistic, right? Because I feel like Walker's the guy that's gonna get more of a bag somewhere else than here. Like, I don't think we can throw as much money
How
at him,
many?
but I
How
feel like at
many?
the end of the day, he's going to be choosing a different location than here.
Because it's going to come down to what teams need a first baseman, because he's not going to DH. He's going to play. He's going to play defense. That's what I'm thinking about. Most of the teams that got a vacancy at first base is because they got a young bull behind them. Like, there's not a lot of teams in the market for a first baseman. Ooh, he might go to the Mets if Pete Alonso don't come back.
Yeah. I mean,
I
for
just thought
sure. I
about
mean, bro, that is a good worthy name, right? I mean, I would have said it first, but I was just trying to be as realistic as possible. But I do feel like you do have to stop. You know, hey, if we're in that conference room together, bro, we're definitely starting with Christian Walker first, right?
Yeah.
First guy, we're like, all right, we're gonna talk to his agent first, and then we got Josh Bell in the background, right? That's where we're at. But third base, yeah, I mean, who would love
nothing?
Nothing. I mean, even though we would love, Bregman, but no, that's not realistic. So
Nothing.
And honestly, I would rather just have Brian Ramos get his opportunity at third base.
I think that's what
forward.
we coming up on. I think the organization sent the middle finger to my boy Moncada down the stretch.
Yeah.
It hurt to see.
It did. Hurt to see, but that day was coming, and it just came, just passed us by. But let's look at, even though we talked about Estrada at short, I would love to see. I mean, yeah, Willie Adames, he's going to go somewhere. He's not going to be here.
You know who I would love if the White Sox signed Ahmed Rosario.
Really? You know, White Sox Nick had a post about that on Twitter.
I love him, especially for a team like the White Sox, because with the amount of contact that he generates and his brand of baseball, it'll be easier for Grady Sizemore to put like signs on in like base stealing situations. You know, like the tutorial parts of the game where you can send a guy to steal just when you're trying to teach a lesson or something like that. He's good at executing those little subsurface things of the game. I love like him, Kevin Newman. It'll be perfect for the White Sox. Even Garrett Hampson. Now, considering the fact that Garrett Hampson could play the outfield now. So that just opened up a shit ton of opportunities for him, especially with his speed.
Right. Honestly, I do like Hassan Kim. I think he's a worthy name that you have to take a shot on.
If we get Hassan Kim, I'm getting a jersey for sure. Hassan Kim at second base? Or shortstop till we get a shortstop? What?
I'm with you, bro. Let's transition. Let's go next. So again, if we're gonna put, we got a lot of names here. If we do trade Robert, right, we're gonna have to have a plan B be out there, and even for me it'd be center and right field. Unfortunately, you got Benintendi still here for a bit.
Harrison Bader is the only everyday center fielder I see on here, and I don't want him in my lineup every day.
Let's minimize this.
Not touching Cody, and he's not opting out.
I think the sad part of this is Fletcher might be your replacement for a season, right?
No, Fletch ain't got the range. I mean, he got the twitch, he got the arm, he has the ball skills, but as far as like running a fucking baseball down 170 feet, he ain't got that in him.
Yeah. I'm going to the right field to see what else is there.
That's what made Adam Eaton so cold, because he was a little guy, but he could cover so much fucking ground. Alec Thomas, too. That's who, you know what, Gonzo, I'm going to say this right now. Jesse Barfield needs to get Chris Getz to trade for Alec Thomas. Because he doesn't really cost this much now.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lead. We don't really have a leadoff hitter. Like, don't get me wrong. Fletch is a good baseball player, and I support him, but he is not as aggressive as Alec Thomas.
Yeah, No, I agree with you. And again, like guys like Haniger, Santander, they're gonna go elsewhere.
How you feel about Max Kepler?
I'm passing on Kep.
He could play center field behind Robert.
I mean, that's like a plan B or C to me, but
I mean,
you might have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even going to left field, like I think the guy I really truly wanted was Tyler O'Neill, but
He's about to get paid.
He's going to get paid. And everyone wants Conforto, which for me, he's more of my plan B or C kind of guy.
Come on, man. We need to go ahead and just figure out a way to get Jurickson Profar on the team.
Another guy that's going to get paid. Let's go to, I told you that we would pass on pitching, but let's just take a look at some of the guys that might be realistic. That would be bargain guys. I'm going to scroll down this list because a lot of guys getting paid on here.
Nick Martinez, Anthony DeSclafani, Alex Cobb, for sure. Alex Cobb looked decent down the stretch for Cleveland.
Are you being Jose Cantana?
No. No Lance Lynn. No Kikuchi.
Oh man. Is my boy Merle Kelly coming?
Hell no. I'll probably Nick Pivetta.
Where is he at?
Colin Ray.
Pivetta is a really good name. I would even mind taking a shot on Walker Buehler.
Shit, I wouldn't. Hopefully Milwaukee declines Freddie's option.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
I like.
Ain't John Means hurt though?
He should be coming back after this offseason. That's not a bad guy though. John Means.
Yeah, another lefty.
Even Spencer Turnbull.
Yeah, but I think he's still got to get. He gonna need all the spring training to get stretched out because remember Philly brought him back out of the bullpen. Then they tried to give him a couple spot starts and it didn't go too well.
Corey Mize. I think we gave quite a good amount of names there, bro. But for me, again, I'm filling the rotation with guys that I want to get an assessment on. So I'm not really trying to look for starting pitcher flips. Yeah. I would be interested in a closer flip though.
Let's see.
Let's see what we can do.
Nothing. Right? Nothing.
I've seen Chapman, but I feel like he'd probably get money elsewhere.
Seawald get money elsewhere. Matt Moore get money elsewhere.
You think Blake
trying to be good in a White Sox uniform for sure.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, Chris Martin will be another. Estevez, I think, but low key, I believe trying to get money elsewhere, Estevez would be a good spot for the White Sox. Mentor's going to get money elsewhere. Clay Holmes is going to get money elsewhere. Tanner Scott would be good for the White Sox.
Yeah. Even Kirby Yates.
Kirby Yates would be good for the White Sox. Luis Garcia, another one good for the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. Stanek's not too bad.
I'm intrigued on Jose Leclerc, though, because that's a guy that could be your impromptu closer because he got closing experience.
As a guy...
I'll kick the tires on the Loaisiga, too.
Guy that I would pay attention to is Bednar with the Pirates.
Yeah.
Because I think he has an option. So kind of like what what James said earlier. Bednar, I think, is an option that you got to keep an eye on if he hits the market. We got a comment here about Wolf. Just got on. Anyone looking strong out of Japan? Our Asian pipeline been dry for years. Well, if Roki Sasaki hits the market, that's a guy that's going to be better than Yamamoto.
Yeah.
But that's if he. I think he will. I really
You know
think
Roki's going to be Targaryen, right?
I think Roki's going to surprise people. I think he's going to come over this offseason, not next year. If he does, he's going to get. I mean, he's going to get paid. But I'd love to have him, Wolf. But I think he's going to go elsewhere. Probably the Yankees, if I had to guess.
No.
I think that's. Let's see. Do we have any other positions? I think we went through all of our rotations, right?
Yeah.
So let's put this on the post game show. I think that wraps up our talk about arbitration and free agents. Let's transition to the MLB postseason. Justin, talk to me about your preseason prediction and where that has adjusted at the moment. What's your thoughts as the wild card series just expired and we're on to divisional series?
Well, I mean, shit. To be honest with you, Gonzo, I'm really surprised that the Mets made the playoffs. There's no way that they should even fathom the playoffs this year. I'm really surprised by that. I'm really shocked that the Orioles got bounced as quick as they did while being the darlings of the American League. But to be honest with you, Gonzo, I'm just happy most of these games are coming down to the wire. Don't want to see any blowouts or anything like that. As far as like my preseason prediction goes, I predicted the Red Sox were going to win the World Series. They did not. Also predicted Yohan Moncada would have his first 40 home run season of his career. He did not. So thank you for making me relive that trauma.
So my preseason prediction was, I can't remember who I said winning it. If I did give a winner, but I said Phillies and Orioles. I came very close. Both of them made the postseason, but we saw the Orioles just get bounced. Which, by the way, that was all on them, bro. Right? I mean,
yeah. The only way they scored was solos.
They clearly needed pitching, and they didn't make the moves necessarily to get it done, and they had to make a decision on Burns coming up, and they could have made a deal at deadline for pitching, and they didn't. Shame on them, because this is your window to hit, and as a GM, you can't just get greedy and hoard your farm system. Usually comes back to bite you. But yeah, we'll see what they do in the offseason, because that's a team that might get even more desperate, right? Maybe he budges that GM, make a deal, get it done. At the moment, though, I think with how things are going, I think we're going to get a World Series rematch. I think it's going to be Phillies Yankees. I'm saying a blast from the past, right? But I was shaky with that Phillies prediction going into tonight, but with I think they needed a game like tonight in Game 2, that little bit of momentum to really spark them.
Philly's got to stop giving up these 7 inning runs, because in the 7th, 8th, that's when you got to nail it down. And this is where the Mets are making hay. The Phillies are winning 75% of these games. Well, these first 2 games, and the Mets literally, like, they almost got vientoed. Almost. I think it's going to be San Diego and the Yankees in the World Series.
San Diego and the Yankees. So you got faith in our boy Cease leading the charge.
Jurickson Profar.
I can give props to the Padres is they gave the rookie the ball game 1, Michael King, and boy did he deliver. And he's been delivering
Ain't no fucking rookie.
He's been delivering all of the second half of
Yeah.
this season. So that's a guy that's getting his reps in the postseason early, and he delivered, and that's what you love to see. I wish we did that in 2020, the White Sox, with our rookies at the time.
What's crazy is the Padres didn't even make any offensive moves. All of the moves they made were just straight bullpen. Everybody else was just activated off the IR.
Yeah. But again, even during the season, though, like, Luis Arraez, it's a clutch contact hitter to get.
Shit, Kyle Higashioka was carrying him, too, at one point. He had a good year for him. But,
another rookie with Morel. Man, did he have a hell of a year.
Who?
Jackson Morel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Give the man his props.
Yeah, but, Jurickson Profar should get MVP votes.
Mm-hmm.
He should get MVP votes.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no, the game going on right now with the Padres, Dodgers, like that's the series that I'm keeping my eye on because whoever wins this, I think, is going to go to the World Series for sure.
Yeah, because they're going to pop. They're going to pop the Phillies.
Yep. Even though I really wanted the Phillies to make it, but I just think that this is the class of the NL right here. And I said at work that the postseason was going to be for the wild card, the Padres, the Mets, and I said Diamondbacks, but it came up to be, they got snagged by the Braves, but it is what it is. Regardless, it's going to be a showdown. I still think the NL is going to win it over the AL. I think the AL is it's way too up for grabs for me, bro. Between Yankees, Guardians, Royals, Tigers. It's crazy that 3 AL Central teams are still in it. But I don't think the AL is going to win it this year. I think for sure it's going to be NL.
There's no National League team that could beat the Yankees.
Stop it.
What y'all going to do when Aaron Judge wakes up? Because he's not going to be this bad for long.
Well, good thing Otani's already woken up.
Not going to happen, pal.
Yankees don't have a
I don't like
Otani, a guy that. You think Otani's going to pitch this postseason?
No.
I don't think they're going to give him the reign. Go win it all.
Not going to happen. It's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen.
Not game 1 of the World Series.
No, it's not going to happen.
So you have Yankees going all the way this year?
Yes.
Over the Padres?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I got Phillies over Yankees. But that's just because I want to be right about the Phillies, even though I still think it's going to be whoever's. I do side on you. If the Padres beat the Dodgers, I'd go with Padres, but that's just me. But I think whoever wins that series is going to be winning the World Series.
I just don't see it. Like Juan Soto bails Aaron Judge out. 0 for 4 with 3 Ks.
Gotta admit, the Yankees getting Juan Soto, I think that's the move that they've been, slacking for the past decade. Getting that complimentary premium piece to build with Judge. And now they got him back-to-back. But they got to give him the money, too, now.
Yeah, well, this all means nothing if Juan Soto plays in another uniform next year. This means nothing.
Yep.
Even if they win a ring, it goes out the door. because this ring will be forgotten soon if they don't retain Soto.
Is there anything this postseason that has surprised you to this point?
Yes. I'm not going to lie. I thought the Brewers were going to put up a fight. Because they were one of the most efficient teams in baseball. And for them to get shoveled away like Saturday morning snow was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
It's an interesting take. I just felt like they were unfortunate because the Mets, they were the hottest team.
Yeah, but the Brewers weren't stealing any bases. It wasn't creating any offense. And that was odd to me considering the fact that the Mets really don't control the base running.
Yeah, I get that.
So you get all the way to the playoffs and fold.
Yep.
Odd.
Happens, man. That's why we love baseball. Speaking of the Mets, though, I was really happy to see Senga get back. He pitched, 3 innings, I think?
30 pitches.
30 pitches, yeah. Good to see him back because it killed me to see him battle that hamstring all year. First game back, he pulls that calf.
Yeah, bro.
And they finally bring him back.
And it sucks when pitchers get hurt. They're gone for weeks.
But Vientos, bro, man, he's talk about a guy having a rookie year and then continue on the postseason. He is
he a beast.
He's gonna be something, man.
He a load. A load.
Pause.
No.
Pause. Let's transition. Right.
2 loads.
I think quite the posting's about to take off here. I like the vibe so far. I think it's gonna be better than last year. I wasn't really too thrilled about the matchup last year with Rangers, Diamondbacks, but this will be a better offseason. Now we're gonna wrap up the show talking about some fantasy, our dynasty league. We haven't gotten to it in quite some time, and I think now that we're going to the postseason, we're gonna start talking about it more going into next year as well, into season 3. But I'm gonna bring up your roster first, bro.
Okay.
The first thing I think we should, because eventually we're gonna bring all of our league mates on here. Eventually, go one by one. I kind of want to know what your thoughts were over the season with your roster, and kind of where your thoughts are going forward. Where do you see holes at? You don't have to say like how you're gonna fix it, but just let me hear some strength, weaknesses, and overall thoughts of the season.
Well, I'm actually proud of the Targaryens because even though we were under 500, we fought. We fought.
By the way, bro, you battled 500 all year, and you clinched the 8th seed, and you had a nice run in the postseason. But go ahead and continue.
Yeah, ran into Otani in the second round. Unfortunate events, very unfortunate. Families were displaced. There was a lot of debris, a lot of destruction. Total cities were destroyed that second round of the playoffs. But proud of the Targaryens. Had some injury issues early. Survived Francisco Lindor's drought, Tatis's injury, some up and downs with Gunnar Henderson. But I really like my team. If you scroll down a little bit to the pitching side of it, that was where my record got haywire. Is my pitching started getting a little bit injured.
Before pitching, is there anything on the minor guys here you want to add?
Not really. There's only probably about 2 guys I'm excited to get called up, and that's Kevin Alcantara and Xavier Isaac. Everybody else, including Roman Anthony, is trade bait. I'm a little bit intrigued on Bryce Matthews. A little bit intrigued because he might be Alex Bregman's replacement.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised you would put Roman on the trade block. But
that's why I traded for him. I traded Dylan Cruz for him.
Okay.
I think he was a part of the Brian Reynolds trade. Yeah,
Gotcha.
But if you look at my pitching, Like there's been
Mhm.
obviously there's some journeymen in there with the Martin Perez's, the Yusei Kikuchis, Charlie Morton, Patrick Corbin. Like I was literally fighting for my life in the playoffs, and got to give a shout out to Patrick Corbin. Gave me a quality start win. Justin Verlander was absolutely throwing games in the playoffs. He was the reason we lost. Hopefully he retires next year, so I don't have to roster him. But look at my IR, Gonzo. You people are in serious trouble next year. I already got Munoz, Hader, and Justin Martinez. Now I'm adding Felix Bautista, the closer. I already got DeGrom, Bybee. We're going to add Woodruff and Joe Ryan and the healthy Lusardo. So most of my problems for my team will be fixed internally. On a scale of a 1 to a 10, I will rate my season a 7, considering the fact that it could have went better, should have went better, but the results were better than expected. I shouldn't have made the playoffs. I shouldn't have won in the first round, but the Targaryens outperformed their projections.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Quite a bit of, I guess, maybe skepticism, criticism in that statement. Give me a sec here. Criticism, just, well, I mean, for the fact that you said you did better, I think you did, because, again, you grabbed the 8th spot. You upsetted the 1 seed, who's been quite upset in our group chat.
Yeah.
But you at least got to the second round, and that's tough to do in the postseason. You made adjustments and you got there. You went a step above me because I made a bad. Like I went into the postseason not even making any adjustments. I just felt strong with where I was at, and I should have looked at the hitters a little bit more closely to make some adjustments on the claims going in, and I didn't do that, and that costed me a second round berth. But the only thing I guess for you, besides that little pro, I guess the con I had, which I mentioned, we had the messages texting individually, but about making a couple more moves before the deadline, but you felt strong and you didn't make those moves, but you made your adjustments otherwise. So
yeah, but to that point, Gonzo, I am regretting the fact, like, if I was to just add something to my team, I would just add one more thunderous bat. If that would be the one move out there, like, obviously that was one of the moves at the deadline that was out there on the table for me because I had abundance of resources to go ahead and just, splash and go and get the bat to try to raise the ceiling. But that was around the time where I knew Tatis was coming back, and I didn't want to assess my team without him and Gunnar being healthy at the same time. Like my goal was to get into a competitive situation with Gunnar, Tatis, and Lindor all hitting their stride at the same time. I was never in a position like that until the end of the regular season, going into the postseason. That's when my team started to hit its stride. So I can't really gauge where my team will be at until probably a week into next year, considering the fact that obviously there's some debris. I got to clean up, some moves to be made, but I will have those 3 healthy and, clicking at the same time, with a little bit more meat on the bone, because there was nothing to be won at the end of the year. I was just going into the playoffs as as the 8th seed. There was no projection of progression above that. Like, it was just that you're the 8th seed getting into the playoffs. That's the end of the story. Going into next year, I don't think that'll be the case.
Yep, and as soon as I unlock the rosters after the draft is done, it looks like you got a lot of moves to make to get the roster back to cleanly legal.
Yeah, I talk about trading people. There's like 7 people I just got to outright drop. You talking about decoloring the roster? I got like 6 guys I gotta drop, bro.
I think you and Juan are gonna be having fun in the chat, group chat, dropping people.
Bro.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Juan's been on the I can't believe this shit timing the whole season. Like in the way his season ended this year was so fitting, bro.
Oh, poor Juan. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
let's take a look at your roster.
We'll transition back to
Stuck
in the middle with you. So I guess I was like what? Maybe I was like 4th, 5th all year, and second half I really made. Well, I made some deals on the trade deadline, and I think I had a really good second half with getting. I clinched. Well, I was second overall, but because of the divisions, KG won the NL, so he took the second seed in the playoffs, and I took the third seed, but I was second overall.
Yeah.
In the league. Let me scroll down here. So,
dude, I cannot wait to blow your fucking phone up with trade proposals.
Yeah. No. Oh, Caleb's in the chat. Hey, what's up, Caleb? Yeah, I think Caleb's he's gonna be more competitive, I feel, next year.
Dude, I swear to God, I think Emma wants to crop him out that picture.
That's a good photo. Good photo, Caleb.
One of the few photos that make him look good.
All right. So I originally had Wilson Contreras and traded him to get Duran, and I needed a power bat, so I got
William Contreras. Because if you got people out
there,
you traded Wilson Contreras for Jarren Duran, we're gonna get laughed at.
Yeah, it was William. I apologize. Getting the brothers mixed up already. But that was a hole in my lineup, with the catching. So then I flipped a deal with Nate and got Hope. I like the moves I made. Hope, Alonso. Albies will be taking over Edmund's spot there. I'm just gonna say that I don't think that's gonna be a surprising move.
Hey, what you trying to do? Is Ozzy Albies on the trading block?
No, he's on the trading block.
He's not?
No.
Why not?
He might be later, maybe later in the offseason or later in the year or in 25.
Come on, bro.
I gotta see who gets promoted here from the minors.
It wouldn't matter. They're not gonna. Come on, bro. You know what? Go ahead. Say what you gotta say, bro.
Maybe LB says. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll be in talks, but LB's at the moment will take over there at second base. I gotta see what happens to Bregman here this offseason to see what his fate is gonna be. Obviously, Bobby Wood Jr. had one hell of an elite season. You love to see that from your number one pick. Yordan Alvarez, I can't complain about. I mean, there's sometimes, this season with the injury bug that hit him a couple times, that was hard some tough matchups down the road for me when he was gone, but we fought through it. I know he'll be bouncing back strong.
Oh my God.
We all know about Duran and Wood. I don't talk much about them. I'm gonna be making some moves here at the bottom of the order with my utility guys.
I hope you're not. I hope you're not trying to send me a message about those losers.
No, we'll be cleaning that up as the season gets going here. But I feel strong with what's there at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
I'm only talking about maybe 1 or 2 adjustments here at the bottom, but overall, I feel pretty strong with the hitters going forward.
Taylor Ward had a 25 home run season.
Yeah, and I picked him up in the first round of the postseason because I needed some more thunder in the lineup going into that weekend.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? So, we gotta talk about. Can we add walks to the goddamn offensive equation?
You know what? That's something we'll bring to the table. We'll
Because
have to create a poll and see how people
you're
feel
doing me
about it.
grimy. You're doing me grimy with my boys Nolan Shanwell and Brandon Nimmo on the fucking team. You're doing me grimy. We're losing here. The good American people are losing.
Maybe Caleb wants you to lose.
Nah, of course he wants me to lose.
He wants you to be grimy. But as far as my prospects go at the bottom here, I try going really young with guys to come, and I was wheeling and dealing this season, so I got a good stash here at the bottom though. I'm very excited, and because most of these guys, bro, well, I'm not sure if you remember, Jay, but I drafted Emil Morales, and then I dropped him while I was wheeling and dealing and shuffling my order, and then I picked him up later again. But other than him, these other 4 guys, they were all picked up, throughout the season. And there's actually a 5th one, because technically Eldridge is considered a pitcher, even though he's going to be a first baseman. Probable outfielder.
Yeah.
But going into the pitching staff, I think, man, this is where I love the team, because I feel like I'm really well balanced with my pitching staff and hitters. I did draft Snell, traded for Wheeler, I had to pick up Lucas, because I had some issues with closers at the end of the season because of injuries and whatnot. So I had to pick him up. But Suarez, I think I picked him up in the beginning of the season. And I know a guy that's missing, Bednar. I dropped Bednar in the playoffs, so
you had to.
I had to. Eflin, I picked up.
Is Suarez on the trading block?
Suarez, no. Suarez ain't on the trading block. Don't even think about it.
Come on, man. You said you want Munoz. We could do an even swap.
He's guy I gotta keep.
Come on, bro.
But yeah, this pitching staff's hers surprised me.
Deep in the rotation. It's just the bullpen.
Yeah.
But saves is only one category.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to look at my roster. Starters are deep. I'm going to be eyeballing relief pitching this offseason, because if you look at my prospects coming up, I'll be able to flip and make some deals here. Because you remove Bryce is going to be a hitter, so you could just look at let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6.
So Noah Schultz is on the trading block?
No.
But you just said you're going to be wheeling and dealing.
I will be wheeling and dealing. He's the only guy that I'm not wheeling and dealing.
Come on, bro. So basically we wait a whole fucking hour and 20 minutes to talk fantasy, and Gonzo gets on here and say, I'm not trading any players that other guys will want. I'm only trading the guys that will be free agents in other leagues.
No, I mean I believe in each one of these guys. These pitching prospects.
Your relationship with prospects, you don't have to explain. We get it. You are the prospector.
I like Caleb's comment.
No. Hey, take that down. That's not funny.
I'm sorry, Juan.
That's okay. Caleb, you're getting blocked.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to make a move, because let's see. Well, Albies, yeah, I said what I'm gonna do with him, but I want to drop one of these guys for get Senga back in the mix. So yeah, one of these starters are gonna be going.
You really got 12 starters, bro.
Mm-hmm. One of them will be going, and I just have to see how some of these free agent moves get done.
Yeah,
before I start
you
making some
definitely
of
got
these
to trade me
deals.
Michael King for sure.
Who did I trade? He was a trade. I'm trying to remember. Who was that? Was that? Oh yeah, that was Moran. I traded with Moran to get Michael King. But
Remember
yeah,
the Zach Wheeler back spasms?
yeah, yeah.
Reese Olsen hitting the IR. How'd that
Who
work out?
he came back. Who I gotta go look at his roster again. While I'm in the middle of blanking out here. Yeah, I think this offseason I only have to drop 2 people, bro. I'm like you and Juan are gonna be loading up the free agent market for our draft coming up.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Yeah,
and
but
you're what? You're picking fifth or no? Where are you at?
sixth.
Draft order?
I think it's sixth.
No, you're eighth seed, so I think you're
Eighth.
fourth.
Or something like that. Either way, Gonzo, you got to think about it like this. I'm dropping guys like Patrick Corbin, Charlie Morton. So they're not gonna get prime rib from me. They're getting chicken nuggets, saucy nuggets from Wendy's.
Hmm. I totally forgot that deal. So I gave Jace Young and Manzardo. Manzardo just went on a roll at the end of the year for
I think he hit
Cleveland.
two
So
home runs like a couple days
oh,
after they.
he's got 5 homers, bro.
No, I'm saying he hit. No, I'm saying a game he had a 2 homer game.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
He hit
Okay,
2 home runs in the same spot.
yeah. So I know Foot's gonna turn it around. I'm not worried about giving up Manzardo and Young. He'll take good care of him. And Clark Schmidt and Reese Olson, yeah,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter how to get. I had to do what I had to do, get the job done.
If you want some young first base talent, you can send Bobby Witt for Xavier Isaac. We get a deal done.
Well, just know everybody, whoever's listening that's in our league, the negotiating table is opened, and don't get out negotiated by someone else.
Yeah. Oh my God. Come on, bro.
Um,
Are you serious?
sometimes you just gotta be a good negotiator, you know? You just have to finish your deals.
Or corrupt commissioner?
No one's paying me, man.
So you doing this
Ask.
for the love of the chaos?
I am. I love chaos.
That's sick, bro.
I try to do best for the league, but I
You sound
also
like
love
Thanos,
chaos.
bro.
Yeah, I'm like the Joker.
Uh, Terrible movie. Don't go see it.
Did you see it already?
No.
No.
But I
All
only
right.
I spew out what the internet tells me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited because let me look at the draft order again. Do you have any? Are you going to share any of your any strategies of like, are you doing best player? Or are you going to be filling holes for the draft?
Well, I mean, yeah, because I'm trying to basically what I'm just trying to add to my roster is just pure power. That's what I feel like I was lacking. Um, I don't really need any more starters. I don't need any bullpen guys. I do need a third. I do need some third base depth. If you want, go back to my team real quick. Yeah.
Sure, I'll do that. That's something that I'm going to be doing myself too, depending on Bergman.
Oh, let's see. Go back up.
Come on, there we go.
Yeah. So, like, if you look at my team right now, I only got really one third baseman on the roster, and that's half of Gunnar Henderson. Eventually, Gunner's going to lose his eligibility, and I'm going to have to make a move. So, with that being in the back of my head, I already got Lindor and Trevor Story to play shortstop for Gunnar in his stead. So what I need to do is try to figure out how to raise my third base ceiling while also filling the position. In the minor leagues, Jacob Gonzalez and Brock Wilken are a little bit ways away. So I can't just see, I'll cross that bridge tomorrow. So filling the third base role will be paramount for me going into the draft.
Yeah, and just a reminder how we're doing it. We're doing 2-round draft. First round, our minor league draft. Second round's our compensatory round, which means you can either replace a minor leaguer or one of your active players as an upgraded of whoever's in the pool. So again, if you want to upgrade your minors, you can, or you can make a move to upgrade your active guys.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so proud of Spencer Horwitz. He got his opportunity with the Blue Jays and he took full advantage. Now, me as a dynasty owner, I don't really have to be beholden to the first base position, considering the fact that naturally just turned into my deepest position on the diamond because of Spencer Horwitz. So now I can in the situation, I got to drop a couple players. I could let go of Nolan Shanwell just to give me a bigger opportunity to cast that net out for a third baseman this offseason. On top of having an opportunity to trade for somebody like an Alex Bregman or Austin Riley.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so yeah, draft order, you are 5th and I am 11th.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the first round I'm just gonna do best player available, and then second round I might, obviously I'm gonna be filling holes.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into a collision course, Gonzo, where BPA is best, is filling the hole. BPA is filling the hole.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I feel like in my situation, you probably won't be seeing me in the first round drafting a pitcher, but you never know with what happens before me. I got 10 people in front of me. Someone's gonna have to drop, right? So
And not only that, even though you're picking 11, that's still 10 dominoes falling ahead of you.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of looking at the draft at the selection of like anything after 8 in this previous, or like in the draft that we saw the MLB. I'm looking at guys that went after 8, and I'm just gonna wait and see if there's a surprise way in there that came before.
Yeah. This is and this redraft for the dynasty, the queue is going to be important. Most of the guys that you're going to be targeting are going to be typed in.
Yeah, I'm not really I'm not nervous. I got a strong team. I'm looking to fill a couple spots, and we're gonna be flipping the script and reloading the next season of hopefully more success. I gotta stay at top 4. That's kind of
Who's been your favorite
my
player on your
mindset.
team? Before we get off of fantasy, we got to give our 2 favorite players. Who was your
For
favorite?
active prospect, or like
Active, like the guy who you
yeah,
had most fun rostering this year in fantasy.
you do yours first.
No, Francisco Lindor.
Oh, I think I'm gonna give me like a underrated guy.
Oh, well, I already said fucking Horowitz. I don't
Oh,
really
okay,
want to.
so you did give me
Yainer
2
Diaz
guys.
really isn't underrated, even though he
Okay.
smacked the hell out of the ball this year. His that's one of the guys, like, you got to look past his OPS. Like, his OPS is sub 800, but he's hitting a decent clip with a decent amount of RBIs too. Okay, fuck it, Yainer Diaz.
Let's see. For me, I think it's too easy to say Bobby Witt Jr. going 1. So I'm gonna hold them off just because I feel like that's too easy. So I think the second guy for me was James Wood. Because when he came, like, he was the touted prospect that dropped to me, and like I didn't know how he was going to do as hitting the big leagues right away, how his talent was going to adapt, and he adapted really well, and he was going to oppo with everything, and then at the end you start seeing him start pulling it a little bit. So you saw that balance that you love to see from that promising talent of his. That going forward, like I'm feeling really strong about my outfield now since I traded for Duran, having Jordan, Duran, and
Yeah,
Wood.
your outfield is deep.
And the crazy part, bro, was like you remember back in March, for me the outfield was a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I had Jordan, and then I think I had Ian Happ, and I forget. I have to go back and look at my draft history, but
Wait. You drafted Ian Happ?
I had drafted Ian Happ.
Thank you.
I dropped him because I believed I could get better.
You dropped him when he hurt his
So,
hamstring. He was on the IR when I picked him up.
yeah, that's okay because I got the Duran. Made that good trade. Ian Happ didn't have the year he did. So, yeah, Wood was, I think, he's my one. Let's see if I throw another. I want to put someone else that's a little bit more underrated in here.
Helio was the best creative player in the league.
Yeah, no, he was a good. I picked him up, I think, in June.
How long did you have Manaea on your team?
You said who?
Sean Manaea.
I think I also picked him up right like mid-June. You dropped him like, I think I picked him up like 2 weeks after you dropped him, so I think it was mid-June.
Yeah, because I had him pretty early in the year.
I think you got him like mid-May and you dropped him like right away, like after a week or two.
Yeah, because I was just streaming him.
Yeah, but like he was a guy that like I had him on my queue on my watch list, and I was watching him when I was streaming guys, and he like right when I saw that after you dropped him, like he had like 2 starts that were really solid, and I was looking at the schedule coming up and picked him up, and then he really took off, and I couldn't drop him because he was going crazy.
Yeah,
So with quality starts,
him and David Peterson was the 2 most consistent Mets pitchers in the rotation.
Yep. So honestly, I think another guy here that actually I want to mention 2 guys. Oh my gosh, there's actually 3. All right, I'm gonna do 2 with 2 more honorable mentions out of pitchers. You know me, I'm a pitcher guy, so for me it's a lot. I love talking pitching, so obviously Suarez. Watching the year he had, he was crazy. And then Flaherty, when I picked him up as a stream, I think it was like end or mid-April. I think I picked him up. I had people like texting me about trades, and what the stats he was putting up early on, it reminded me of like a couple years ago where he was, and I'm like, if he kept up with that pace, there was no way I was gonna be trading him for the value that people were trying to trade for him. It wasn't there. So I'm glad that I hung on to him and let him ride. Let's see who else traded for Valdez. Oh, Tanner Huck.
Tan Dog.
Picked him up, I think also mid-April, and just let him go. Was happy with him. Michael King, I had an eye on him just because with all my time watching the Padres and Cease, I started seeing, him start to take off, and I eyeballed him and made the deal for him. And he's not a guy that I'm going to be trading anytime soon. I wish I could have seen, obviously, I think I picked Senga around the 90th pick range, and I had high hopes for him, and I was really disheartened to see that he didn't get to pitch. He only had a couple innings for 1 start this season. So yeah, that's kind of my breakdown of the roster. And obviously, I guess looking forward to next year, I guess if I wanted to talk about guys that I'm going to be interested in, obviously, if Noah Schultz comes later in the season, obviously I'm going to have a lot of interest in him. And then for hitters wise, let's see. I think maybe McGonigal might.
He's interesting too because everybody knows Trey
Yeah,
Sweeney ain't the end all be all for
yeah.
the Detroit Tigers. He's just keeping it warm, and they're appreciating the little bit of production that they're getting out of him.
McGonigal and Campbell are like, I think they're like at the same spot where I can see him maybe coming up.
Mm-hmm. That's why the
Uh,
Red Sox. That's why the Red Sox really didn't make a splash
yeah,
because those. Not only are these guys talented, but they're the organization's ilk of player that they want to
mm,
bring up. The Red Sox do not want any. Like, don't get me wrong. Finding another Rafael Devers, that'd be great. But the Red Sox want to stay athletic and versatile. They want more so Rafaela than Rafael Devers, if you get my drift. They want
yeah,
more pure athletes on the diamond. That way, injury or anything like that, they could pivot almost immediately instead of having a shock to the system.
yep. I'm with you, and I'm psyched, bro, for the draft next season. I had a lot. To wrap this up, bro, I had a lot of fun with our Blackout League. I know our group chat got toxic at times with
I love
stuff
that. That's my favorite part.
that's going down. Like a lot of people had to mute it because that chat would be on fire at times. But I guess that's fantasy baseball at the end of the day. You know, we got what I love about our league, man, is honestly we got a lot of competition. We got a lot of competitors in there. Um, and that's what it is, man. I mean, you don't want guys that don't care, and we don't have that. We got everyone cares in the league, and it's going to be
Yeah.
competitive, and it's going to continue to be even more competitive because the way I kind of set it up here, I know there's maybe one person that didn't like the way I set it up going to the off season, but I really think the way that I outlined it, it's only going to get better for
Yep.
competition. And maybe maybe the other person doesn't. Maybe he just wants to have that lead and doesn't want the league to get more competitive. But unfortunately, that's how it's going to be, and we're going to be in it for the long run. So we're going to have fun with it. Let's go to move shoutouts. Justin, I'll let you lead off. Shoutouts. I'll get this out of the way.
First we got to give a shout out to Asia. Another wedding cake done. She had some rocket and astronaut base cookie order that she put out too. That was really nice. Another calendar turned with her. Went into October on fire. We actually celebrated our 3-year anniversary on the 19th of September. So shout out to you, babe. Another year around the sun with you. Got to give a shout out to the one and only Ryan Poles. Okay, you drafted Caleb Williams. He put on a virtuoso. You signed DeAndre Swift. He was a fantasy champion. Kevin Byard, another interception today. Your defense put on a masterclass. At the end of the day, Bears fans, you are walking into London with a little bit of momentum, and you're facing a Jaguars team that can't stop anybody. Every game the Jaguars play will be turbulent. You can take control of the season, and you can keep ascending. So, long story short, shout out Asia, Chicago Bears, and Ryan Poles. And you, Gonzo. You did a fantastic job steering the ship this season. You and Slavko keeping us afloat. I'm proud of you. Um, you've worked harder than the White Sox. I can say that much.
Appreciate that, bro. Um, let's see, where am I? Okay. First, I'm gonna shout out my girlfriend Soraya, and also her family. Her mom and brother came in this weekend. We had some fun couple days out here in San Diego. Um, had a blast, and I'm gonna transition into also shouting out some of our participants. We always love our viewers. Thank you guys for showing up. Deech. And I gotta also while I'm talking about Deech here, Deech gave me an awesome, warm felt message, and on my DMs on Twitter, thanking us for what we do, and I know not only I appreciate that, but I know our guys do too.
Appreciate
Anyone that gives us, the kind and appreciative words, the love for what we do. We try to bring a different perspective, because I know that a lot of the White Sox content creators, can kind of come with that same approach, and we want to be different, and we try to bring on people that are kind of like-minded.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I just hope that we're 2 seasons in. We're going to be going, we haven't really wrapped up our season 2 yet. That will be later in the off season. We still have plans this off season coming up, before we wrap our season 2, before we go to season 3. But I am looking forward to next season and beginning another season of the Blackout. More details to come, because I think we still got some things that we gotta TD up, and then a live show next month. So looking forward to things to come. But as I continue on, James, appreciate you, boss. New boy's been on Facebook viewing us, and we appreciate you. Wolf, thanks, boss. Seen you a couple times. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. Caleb, he's my co-commish.
Don't bring him up.
I do got to say, though, the Vikings, I thought were going to be last place, and they started off at least this season, first 5 weeks, off to a hot start at 5-0 that I did not expect. We'll see if they can continue that success.
Come on, dog.
We'll see. Anthony Bunch, I got to shout you out.
It's a bunch of them in that photo.
There it is. Let's see. He said Buck Show. I didn't get to see some of these guys at the end here. So let's see. Buck Showalter and Sizemore's bench coach, with Sizemore learning and then taking over. If that's the role, I mean, obviously Bunch, I wouldn't mind it. But Justin, instead of in this situation right here on the screen, instead of Buck, I want our own guy in there. I want senior leading the charge. Someone that actually knows the organization, knows the people in the closet that are, ruining this.
I'm not going to put that on him.
I wouldn't want to put it on him, but I know that he would.
He deserves better.
I think he would make the most out of it. I think he would actually surprise us, turning this around, because he has the passion. I think that's what we need, someone that has the passion for this franchise. Buck wouldn't have that passion, but I do agree with you as far as a guy that's got experience to do it. Buck wouldn't be a bad option. Joe, let's see. Joe, thanks, boss. Not only do I see you coming on YouTube, you're on Twitter, always on Twitter as well, and Joe's been always commenting in our comments section on YouTube. So good job, Joe. Appreciate you. He said, I don't mind Grady being the manager for the next 1 to 2 years. Why bring in a premier manager they're going to fire in 26, 27? Yeah, and I mean, truly, it's not fair to the manager as well to get there and then to make a move.
Yeah. Do the dirty work just to get done dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it depends on who that manager would be. Obviously, if they're younger, they would carry on. But if it's an older guy like Buck or senior, you might have to do that because of the age factor. So, yeah, whatever they're going to do, you got to be mindful of not only the short term, but the long term of that impact. So, that does it for our shout outs. Jay, real quick, you brought up the Bears. Yeah, I'm with you, man. You love to see obviously the Carolina defense, they had decent pass pro stats, but all together as a team, yeah, those are the teams that, even though they might be weak,
my favorite part of the show,
you gotta beat them down. And we watch too much Bears football where those teams that are bad come in, make it a close game. We don't see those games too much where we put them in their place.
Yeah.
And you're glad to see that. And Caleb is continuing to progress each week, and multiple 300-yard passing 5 games into his career. We haven't seen that in a while.
Hey Gonzo, the Bears
Yeah.
are on an 8-game winning streak at Soldier Field.
At home, yeah, 8-0 at home and 3-2 this year. That's a good vibe right now on Chicago, and I think I predicted the schedule to be somewhat similar early on, but I just didn't think. Basically, I flip flopped because the Rams, I had them losing that game, but they
I
won
had
that
them
game.
losing to the Rams, but beating Houston.
Okay, but me it was, yeah, I had them losing to Houston, but I had them losing the Rams but winning the Colts game, so that kind of flattened out for my 3-2 prediction. So at this point, I can't be too upset. Obviously, I wish they would have won that Indy game, but at the same time, I didn't have them winning the Rams game, so I think they're in good place. So end of the day, we're still looking good here in Chicago. Vibes are good, man. Vibes are good. Not to mention, a week from now, obviously, guys, we're going to come in. Our next show will probably be when they announce the manager change. We'll have a nice little emergency podcast for that. But for our listeners that are tuning in on YouTube or tuning in after on our streaming services on Spotify, whatnot, be ready for emergency pod when they announce that. And then also November 10th will be our live show at Little Joe's again. So please, for that event, we'll be posting it on our social media platforms. But please, if you can attend, we would love to see you. Join us for not only a post game of a Bears game, which will be Bears Patriots at Soldier Field. We'll be doing a post game with the Bears, but also be tuning up our baseball talk with the trade, the winter meetings coming up in December. So we'll be talking White Sox then and Bears as well. But join us. I know KG would want as many people as possible there. So tune in. More details to come. We'll release those accordingly. And again, Justin, do you have any last words at all?
No. Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna just be a little bit transparent here to close out. The White Sox gave us a shit show of a season, but it was absolutely a blast recording with you and the gang this season, from Don Cooper to Senior. Like, we had a fucking ball. I can't wait to do it on the next calendar. Hopefully the team be a little bit better, but you better hope the Bears win that live show.
Oh yeah.
You better
And
hope.
there might be some special guests for that. I'm trying to close a deal with some, not even White Sox, with some Bears. Maybe we can get a couple Bears there.
Ooh, bear down.
Oh, again, don't miss it. Be there. We'll put the details out. But again, everyone, thank you for tuning in for not only season 1 but season 2. We're gonna be definitely making a last move here to wrap up season 2 later in the off season, but season 3 will be underway shortly. Thank you for tuning in and watching.